Hi, so first of all, those are all the things here that you will need for this project. So I'm using a 4mm hook for the yarn that I'm using, but you can use whatever size that is good for your yarn. Normally it says on packaging which hook to use. And here I'm also gonna use a needle, like a crochet needle. I don't know what the real name of it is. But you can see here, like, this one has like a kind of a curve to it and the other one doesn't. Both work the exact same, so it doesn't matter which one you use or which one you have, but both will work. And of course you will also need your yarn. So to begin with, we will do a magic loop. So to do a magic loop, we will take our yarn and hold it with our thumb and our middle finger, and then we'll wrap around it once and make an X shape, and then wrap it around again, but only till half, so that you have two lines of yarn. So on the first part of the yarn you will go under, and then you will take the second part of the yarn and you will pull it through and twist it so that you have a loop here. And then you will take some more yarn and you will pull that through the first kind of loop shape that you made. And now you have your first stitch. So now you will just grab the yarn again and make a second stitch, and then you can take it out of your fingers and then you can just twist it and it will all be secure. So now we will do a third stitch actually to make the hide for the next stitches. So you'll grab the yarn again and pull through, and then you have 3 stitches going upward in total. So this whole thing will count as our first stitch on the magic loop, and we need 20 stitches in total on the magic loop. And to do that we will use a double crochet. And to do a double crochet, you can see here, I pull the yarn and I kind of twist it so that I kind of have like a half loop. Then I go under and make sure to have both the ending part and the magic loop part under my hook, and then I will pull through the yarn, so I have 3 loops in total on my hook, and then I pull the yarn through again, but only to pull through the first 2, and then I will grab more yarn again and pull through again. So yeah, that's how you do a double crochet. So I will show it again. You take the yarn, you twist it half, and then you will go under both, and you will grab your yarn and then pull through 2 of the loops, and then grab more yarn and pull through again to the remaining ones. Now we have 3 stitches, and in total we need 20 stitches, so you can just do more stitches of the same kind. And when your yarn end isn't enough anymore to crochet over it, you can just pull on the end of your yarn and it will make the circle smaller, and then you can crochet just like normal, and yeah, it will hopefully then be enough. So make sure that you have enough of your yarn and to always go over it twice. So after you completed your 20 stitches, you will go ahead and make a slip knot into the third stitch of the first chain that we did. So here you can see like this little triangle, there you go in the middle and push through your hook and grab yarn and just grab it and pull through. Not even do like a stitch, just pull through all of it at once, and then you have a slip stitch. So now you will begin the second row, which will start the star row. So for that, first do 2 chains, so like 2 stitches, single crochet stitches to be exact, and then you will do a triple crochet. And to do that, you will go around the yarn twice this time before you go into the stitch, and you will go into the same stitch as you are in right now. So first off, grab your yarn twice so that on this part you have 3 yarn parts, and then you will go into the same stitch you're already in. You'll go through and you'll grab yarn again, and then you'll pull that through, and then in total you have 4 yarn parts on the hook, and then you'll grab more yarn, and now go through the first 2 parts of yarn, and then grab more yarn, and then go through all 3 loops again at once. And then you have a triple crochet. And now you will do a 3rd stitch into the same chain, and you will do a double crochet for this one. So just like before, you will wrap your yarn around once and go into the stitch, and then you will grab your yarn and pull it through, and then grab more yarn, pull it through the first 2, and then grab more yarn and then pull it through the last 2. And now you have 3 stitches in total in 1 stitch. And now you can move on to the next stitch. So for the next stitch you will do a half double crochet. So in the next stitch from the first row you will go and you will grab yarn like a double crochet, but then as you go through the yarn and take your yarn and you have 3 loops on the hook, you will grab more yarn and pull through all of those 3 loops at once and not stop at the middle, and then you have a half double crochet instead of a double crochet. And then in the next stitch you will do a slip knot stitch, and to do that you will just go into the next stitch, grab yarn and pull through the loop, and then you have a slip knot stitch. And also you can see here you can also just tighten the yarn, the magic circle, you can just tighten it so that you have an actual circle and not just a random hole in the middle. So yeah, you can just pull on it and make sure you pull it on the right side, and then yeah, you can continue crocheting. So for the next stitch you will do a half double crochet again. So you'll grab yarn and then you'll go into the next stitch of the first row, and then you will just take some yarn and then you will have 3 loops on the hook again, and then you will grab more yarn and pull through all 3 loops at the same time, and then you'll have a half double crochet again. So in the next stitch you will do a double crochet, a triple crochet, and a double crochet again in all of like the same stitch. So you'll have 3 stitches in 1 stitch again. So kind of like the first stitch that we made of this row. So first off you'll do the double crochet and then the triple crochet, and then you will do the double crochet again. So now we will just repeat that process. So you will do a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then a slip stitch in the next one, and then you'll do a half double crochet, and then in the next stitch you will do 3 stitches, the double crochet, the triple crochet, and then again double crochet all in the same stitch, and then in the next one you'll repeat the pattern with the half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet, and then again the 3 stitches, and you'll repeat that till you have 5 of these kind of star shape things, and at the end you will connect it, what I will show you in a second. So here you can see I'm on the last few stitches. So here I'm just doing a slip stitch and then a half double crochet again. And after the half double crochet, I will go ahead and I will connect the ending part to the beginning so that it's all in one kind of loop. And to do the connection, you will go to the first stitch that you made, and at the top you will go into the second stitch, like the triangle thing you see. You'll go in there and you will take some yarn and you will do a slip stitch. And yeah, then you have it all connected, and then you will do one more normal crochet stitch to secure it, and yeah, then you can cut it off and you can pull the yarn through. And then you just have to repeat this whole process one more time, and then I will show you how to sew them together. So now that you have two, you will grab one of the needles depending on which one you have, and I will go with this one, and you'll just pull the yarn through the needle and then you can start sewing. So to start, grab both of the stars that you made and line them up, and it's best when you line them up at the part where you cut off the ending part. So just line it up like that, and in the one that's kind of on top, you'll go through the stitch that I'm showing here, and then on the opposite or on the next panel, I guess, you go through the opposite stitch so that you have them lined up. And then you can pull through the yarn and make sure you maybe like pull more yarn through than you think you need, because you will definitely need more yarn than you think. And so yeah, just pull a decent amount of yarn through, and then you can begin sewing the two panels together. So you can just line them up like this, and then you see like kind of these like V-shaped stitches, and you will always like go under both, like through them and always through both, and then you can just sew them together like this. So kind of like I'm showing you here, you go through the first one and then to the second one, and then you just pull through the yarn and pull it tight, and make sure that the other ends of the yarn from the panel don't get under it, and if they do, you just have to pull them out so that you have later a nice and clean stitching and nothing looks wonky. And normally I'd say now you can just stitch the whole thing up together and then you're basically done. But if you do want a more clean or cleaner looking star, you can also, when you're kind of at the end of the stitching, you can pull the, like kind of when you pull a t-shirt to the other side, you can do that with this, and then the stitching will look a little bit cleaner. But you don't have to do this. And if you do want to put like stuffing in the star, you can leave like a little hole before you finish up stitching, and then you put the cotton or rest yarn or whatever, you can put that in and then sew up the rest, and then you'll just have it like this. But yeah, so here you can see how I did it with the stuffing. I just left like a small hole, and then I put in a like kind of I I I put in some wool that where I messed up the star, and that also works really well as a fulling material. So I just put it in there and made sure that the yarn that I still needed to sew, like the yarn from the needle, is still out so that I could sew up the rest of the star. And afterwards I also cut the part off that was still connected to the bowl of yarn. Is that, I don't know if it's called a bowl of yarn, but to the yarn, and then I actually went ahead and pulled all these like yarn ends in. And how I did it is I just randomly took a spot and went inside the star and then through the hole that I still hadn't sewed up, and then I pulled the yarn ends around my hook and then just pulled them through. And that can be a little bit tricky, but you just have to like kind of try to leave them in the store and pull out the hook without it, and then it will slowly get hidden inside the star so you don't see any ends like outside the star, and it will all look cleaner. Now you can just sew the rest of the yarn together, and yeah, you can see here I just like finish off the ending part, and I also kind of sewed over the first part that we sewed up, because then it will just be a little bit more secure and will not fall apart. And then I took the leftover yarn and I went through the store and to the middle of like the magic circle that we did in the beginning and pulled the yarn through there, and then I cut it off of the needle, and then I went ahead with my hook and pulled the strings, the yarn ends inside the store again to have like a clean finish off. And then you're left with this tiny little cute star pillow or cat toy, I don't know. But yeah, that's the finished result. And also a cat check. My cat loves it, so yours will too.